Welcome to Spartan Sports Beat. I'm Steve Balson, bringing you the latest in the world of St. Thomas Aquinas College athletics. In this edition, we'll take a look at what has become one of the most formidable programs in the St. Thomas Aquinas Spartan family, the men's soccer program. We're joined today by our first guest, the coach of the men's soccer team, Graham Brown. Graham, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Talk a little bit about your background, where you came from in the sport of soccer, and how you came to be at St. Thomas Aquinas.
I'm from Northern Ireland, and I'm involved with the Irish League B division in Ireland, and then I moved over to England, where I was involved with a professional club, Hull City. And while I was there, the MLS soccer camps were doing a clinic, and they asked me to come over during my downtime in the summer. And I come over and I enjoyed it. Actually, it was really enjoyable. So it basically developed from there, and I ended up coming over to the United States. And whilst I was here, I came across our athletic director, Mr. Jerry Oswald, and he introduced me to college, and it just basically went from there.
You've been with the program for the better part of a decade now. Talk about where it was when you started and where it's come during your tenure.
Yeah, it's, when I took over, it was extremely hard. We had just come out of the NAIA and moved into the NCAA, and obviously that was a huge climb for the team. So the first year that they were in that, they were losing very heavily. And with the college all coming into the conference, you know, all the sports had to be competitive. So I think that's why Jerry was looking for somebody to come on board with a bit more experience. So the first 2-3 years were very hard, and it was basically just to stabilise the program, and then start getting some W's on the board. And from there, we were getting better players coming in, and the program was just snowballed from there.
And so much of that is about the recruiting process. How did you approach that, knowing where you started from and where you wanted to go? What did you look at in terms of bringing players in and bringing the right students in to fit the Stack mold?
Well, initially, it was to bring in just strong athletes and good student athletes who would come in and give us a foundation to try and get some results on. But obviously, when we started to get the results, we then move into a scenario where we're being more specific about what we're actually looking for. You know, so we go out looking for a defensive person, and that's what we're basically at this stage now. We've got an excellent squad, and the program's at a stage where, you know, we can go in and be really specific on 1 or 2 players per year.
We've seen some of that excellence play itself out over the past couple of seasons. Why don't you share a little bit about what's perhaps some of the high points of the program has been, especially over these last few years? Yeah,
well, obviously, 3 years ago we made our first ever ECC playoffs, which was exciting. We lost in double overtime to Bridgeport, but just getting to that stage, it's in such a short period of time. I mean, 7 years may seem like a long time, but in soccer, it's not actually. And then the following year, we went one stage further. We made nationals, the Sweet 16, and won our first national playoff game against NYIT, which is just so exciting. You know, so it's great for the program.
And that was the NCAA Division II tournament. Was there a time when you started building, especially in those early tough years, that you envisioned that the program was going to get that, or especially as you said, so relatively quickly?
I've got to be honest with you, I don't think I expected us to get the nationals just as quick as we did. But 4 or 5 years ago, I managed to bring in a group of young lads who were just fantastic, not only as young men, tremendous soccer players, but excellent students and people that I got to know and that I trusted. And I think the foundation of this last 3-4 years is all down to those 4 or 5 players. They've put a great platform up for others to come in and actually play well.
And this year was sort of a bittersweet year for you because it was a tough season with injuries. The team perhaps didn't have the kind of on-the-field success that you would have liked to, and you're getting to say goodbye to what was a very formidable senior class. Share with us a little bit about those young men and what they've meant to you and to the program as a whole.
You know, it was a good year actually, because with so many injuries, Steve, you got to remember the young freshmen who come in. We got playing time that normally we wouldn't expect them to get because of the injuries, but because they did well, it shows that we have a great future for next year, because they actually stepped up to the mark and performed pretty well. But obviously for myself personally, knowing those young guys for the last 4 or 5 years, it was sad. It's going to be a sad year for me. I'm going to miss them. I mean, we'll keep a friendship going probably for the rest of our lives. But at the end of the day, they were always there for me in times of need, and I think they've done an amazing job for this college program.
Well, certainly a great core of young men who have helped this program get to a level that, again, as a coach, I'm sure you have to be pleased with. But there's always the next year. It's the nature of college sports, onward and upward. And there are some great things in the future of the STAC program, literally on the field, as it were.
There is indeed. The last part of the puzzle, as I like to call it, is our own complex. Our own field is now being completed, and we're just polishing up the last few bits and pieces, shelters and the like of that, all scoreboard and stuff all coming in. But it's a magnificent recruiting tool, and it's something that the college has always promised us, and now it's arrived, and it's exciting times ahead, I think.
Well, the field, as anyone who has the opportunity to drive past the STAC campus, is all set and ready to go. None the worse for wear for the heavy storms this fall, and of course, again, really compounding things this past season, the fact that the team really didn't have one field to call its own. So, as you're seeing new recruits come in, is that field something that you're really building your recruiting efforts around?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But also the fact that, as I say, we have made playoffs and nationals, so that always plays into it as well. And as I say, the young freshmen did a good job last year. But the state-of-the-art field that we now have in place is, as I say, it's the last part of the puzzle. So recruitment becomes a lot easier because people are coming to a fantastic academic college and an excellent soccer program in a beautiful facility.
Well, and a facility and a program that's always looking to improve and find that next level, as they have done up to now, and certainly will continue to do under Coach Graham Brown. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Steve, thank you for having me.
We're going to have another special guest for us, member of the STAC men's soccer team, Daniel Davern, who was one of those key members of this recent squad and all of its success. We're going to be back with Daniel Davern and much more in just a moment. And back here on Spartan Sports Beat, Steve Balson here with you, bringing you the latest in St. Thomas Aquinas College Spartans athletics. Joined today by a key member of the Spartans men's soccer team, the theme of today's show, Danny Davern. Dan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Now, Dan, we just got to speak with your coach, Graham Brown. You spent 4 years with the program, and we'll touch on that in just a moment. But first, talk a little bit about how you ended up coming to St. Thomas Aquinas before we get into a little bit more about the impact that you've had on this program. How'd you come to be here?
Oh, I played at Nanuet High School before I came here to St. Thomas Aquinas, and Graham wound up recruiting me through there and some tournaments that he saw me playing for my club team in.
And you've had some teammates that came through the recruiting process with you as well and have been a part of your playing career. What has that been like for you to have that same group of guys that you've known for a while?
Oh, it's been great. We've all become best friends over the years. Do anything for each other type of family deal, and it's been wonderful.
In your 4 years now, you've had personal success, but you've also got to enjoy some team success. What's that been like for you, specifically getting to the NCAAs last season?
Oh, that was the most incredible moments of my life. The guys that I came through with, we really worked hard last year, and it showed. It paid off. We made it to our first NCAA tournament, won our first round in the 32 against NYIT, and wound up playing Franklin Pierce in the Sweet 16.
And you had your own personal accolades as part of that success. Talk about some of the honors that the conference has bestowed upon you for your scoring prowess. You've been among the best in the league and in the region.
Well, last year, I won first team all conference, and this year same as well. And last year was first team all region, and this year I won second team all region. Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about what it's been like under your tenure playing with Graham Brown. He's obviously a unique personality and a fun guy to be around, but clearly also a knowledgeable soccer coach. What has that been like for you?
It's incredible. Graham's one of the best coaches I've ever had. He really knows his stuff. He's more of a defensive-minded guy, whereas I'm an offensive-minded. But he really pulls us together as a team.
How difficult has it been for you, maybe a little bittersweet this season, knowing that collegiate career has come to an end? It does go by pretty fast, doesn't it? What are your reflections on your playing career?
Nothing but good memories here. With Graham and the guys, it was just a really fun experience, and I bettered myself as a player and as a person here.
So where do you stand now? What are you looking at academically, and what are your plans for after college?
Well, I got one more semester here at STAC, and I plan to go into the NYPD, possibly either January of this year, of 2013, or July.
And as you look at where the program stands now with the laying of the new field, I'm sure it's a little bit of a disappointment that you're not actually going to wear the Spartan colors on that beautiful new pitch. But how do you plan on staying involved with the program as an alum and as you move forward? I'm sure there's always going to be a connection.
Oh, there always will be, yeah. I mean, I live in the area, so I'll be coming to see a bunch of games next year. And, you know, we got the alumni game next year, so maybe I'll get to play on it then.
Well, I'm sure we're going to see Dan Davern on the field as well for that, and as a fixture around St. Thomas Aquinas College for a lot of years to come. And certainly your contributions will not be forgotten anytime soon. Dan, thanks for coming by today.
Thanks, Steve.
Dan Davern of the St. Thomas Aquinas College Spartans men's soccer team, and that wraps up this edition of Spartan Sports Beat. I'd like to thank our guests today, Dan Davern as well as Graham Brown, coach of the men's soccer team. And we'd like to thank you for joining us. Until next time, remember Spartan Sports Beat is a production of the St. Thomas Aquinas College Department of Athletics and JHP Productions. Until next time, this is Steve Bolson saying thanks again for watching and so long from Spark Hill.